Welcome to Suppose, a podcast where authors discuss the extraordinary. I'm James V. Hassell,
And I'm Sarah Jaune.
and this week we're discussing Suppose we lived in a completely fair society. Because,
Uh-huh.
yeah, there's a basis for this. Do you want to jump in the basis or?
Yeah, so I came across an article on a friend's Facebook page, which is never a good sign. But basically, this woman was upset because her daughter's school hosted a Valentine's dance, and if a child asked another child to dance, the one that was asked cannot refuse, cannot say no, because they are trying very hard to make everybody feel included and not left out, and to stop bullying. So I I see radical inclusion
Mm-hmm.
as a left-leaning principle in general,
Yeah.
but also preventing rape culture as a left-leaning principle in general. Although certainly the right is very. I don't see them as being pro-rape exactly. It's not that. I'm not saying that is an exclusivity, but
Mm-hmm.
dear God, you have to dance with anybody who asks you. You have no right to say no, and they can't touch you.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I guess you don't have to touch to dance. You could just stand next to each other and wiggle and look stupid, which seems to be most middle school dances, but
Yeah.
wow.
To be clear, this was a 6th grade dance.
Wow.
Not to, say formative years or anything, but, formative years.
Still.
No, I'm saying
6th grade
it's
is
formative.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's not a good time for anybody.
It's not a good time for anybody. It's really not a good time to be told that you can't say no to a dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it threw up so many questions like, does it apply for everyone? I don't
Apparently
know.
it does.
It's so weird.
Apparently it does. Nobody's allowed to say no because reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many things about an uber fair society that, in theory, sound good, but in principle are just terrible.
No, I
You're
think
not-
a completely fair society sounds awful. And I have a
If
thing.
we weren't actually humans and we were computers, I think that a completely fair society would make sense. But we
Yeah.
are not.
No.
Therefore,
Have you heard of the story Harrison Bergeron?
no.
It's a short story by Kurt Vonnegut,
Okay.
first published in 1961. I'm cheating. I'm reading Wikipedia.
Sure.
So I'm just going to read the plot, and it's
Okay.
a nice little paragraph. In the year 2081, the 211th, 212th, and 213th Amendments to the Constitution dictate that all Americans are fully equal and not allowed to be smarter, better looking, or more physically able than anyone else.
Sweet.
The handicapper generals, agents, enforce the equality laws, forcing citizens to wear handicaps. Masks for those who are too beautiful, loud radios that disrupt thoughts inside the ears of intelligent people, and heavy weights for the strong or athletic. One April, 14-year-old Harrison Bergeron, an intelligent and athletic teenager, is taken away from his parents, George and Hassell Bergeron, by the government. They are barely aware of the tragedy, as Hassell has average intelligence, a euphemism for stupidity, and George has a handicap radio installed by the government to regulate his above-average intelligence.
Sure.
Hassell and George watch a ballet on television. They comment on the dancers who are weighed down to counteract their gracefulness and masked to hide their attractiveness. George's thoughts are continually interrupted by different noises emitted by his handicap radio, which piques Hazel's curiosity and imagination regarding handicaps. Noticing his exhaustion, Hazel urges George to lie down and rest his handicap bag, 47 pounds of weights locked around George's neck.
Oh my gosh.
She suggests taking a few of his weights out of the bag, but George resists, aware of the illegality of such an action. On television, a news reporter struggles to read the bulletin and hands it to the ballerina wearing the most grotesque mask and heaviest weights. She begins reading in her unacceptably natural, beautiful voice, then apologizes before switching to her more unpleasant voice. Harrison's escape from prison is announced, and a full body photograph of Harrison is shown, indicating that he's 7 feet tall and burdened by 300 pounds of handicaps. George recognizes his son for a moment before having the thought eliminated by his radio. Harrison himself then storms to the television studio in an attempt to overthrow the government. He calls himself the Emperor and rips off his handicaps, along with the handicaps of a ballerina, who he proclaims his Empress. He orders the musicians to play, promising royalty if they do their best. Unhappy with their initial attempt, Harrison takes control for a short while, and the music improves. After listening and being moved by the music, Harrison and his Empress dance while flying to the ceiling, then pause in midair to kiss. Diana Moon Glampers, the handicapper general, enters the studio and kills Harrison and the Empress with a 10-gauge double-barrel shotgun. She forces the musicians to put back their handicaps, and the television goes dark. George, unaware of the televised incident, returns from the kitchen and asks Hazel why she is crying, to which she replies that something sad happened on television, but she can't remember what. He comforts her, and they return to their average, fair lives.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the story's not much longer than that, truth be told. You can find it on YouTube. YouTuber that I like called Vernaculus, he's done a reading of it. Free to all. Because that's fair.
Cool. Sure.
But yeah, I heard the story of the girls who can't say no. Or the boys who can't say no. The kids who can't say no. And I thought of this. I'm like, oh God, what's next? I can see the weighted leg clamps for the basketball players because of the slow kid.
Not if there's money to be made.
Well, true.
Money is what's going to save us, which is a weird thing to say, but that's the truth.
That's to say capitalism's going to triumph over socialism.
Well, okay, I don't know about that.
That's the argument, though. Money will win.
Yeah.
Because of an unfair environment.
Yes.
A meritocracy, if you say.
Yes. There are certain things where I feel like it would be better off using the socialism model. I think there's one or two things where, especially with healthcare, if everybody was in it together, then you'd have a better playing field to even it out and make it a little less expensive. But it's so complicated. I don't even know that is actually true. But I feel like it's
not that. I think on medical, yes, it's expensive, but I think once you throw it into socialism, you get worse results.
Okay.
I hear about this from other people, like leaving Canada to go to America to get cancer treatment.
Yeah, I've heard Canadian doctors saying that that's not happening now, and they are the doctors, so maybe they're a little biased, but I don't know. I don't know that it happens as much as
I'm not saying it happens often. I'm just saying.
I've had friends get sick while they're in Europe. I've had American friends who've moved to Europe, like legit moved. They're not just military, and they really like medicine systems that are not here. They like walking into a hospital and being treated, and that's that.
Do they like their tax?
I see, but if you're not paying insurance, then you're paying taxes, so it ends up working out. I don't know the same.
I was going to say, it may work out if you have a very good job and you could have had health insurance to begin with. It's not going to work out as great for everyone else.
Well, I mean, everybody gets treated no matter what. You have all of the ER bills anyway, so what does it end up being?
Yeah. Well, the ER can tell you to go away if you don't have a legit emergency.
Yes, they tend not to do that.
They've started to.
Okay.
I got turned away from an ER.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, you're fine. Go. If you start
Yeah.
to die, literally what they said, if your gallbladder ruptures, then we can do the surgery you need. Then it will be life-threatening.
Yes, well, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, but I can see certain things that the socialist model works for. It's very limited in scope. I'm torn on healthcare, but on roads, roads are good. Those are good to have socialized.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess well, is it socialized if they're government thing? What do you mean by socialized?
Yeah,
exactly.
We pay tax. That's a socialist thing. We pay tax, and then the governmental body takes care of the things that are needed.
Okay.
We elect the people to do the things we think that needs to be done. That's socialism. So roads, cops, military, courts. I'm fine with those being socialized, not being completely capitalist. That because pure capitalism goes a bit too far.
Yeah. I like capitalism much. I much like it, but it does not work completely without at least some checks and balance. It could and would in a situation where the money was not corrupt and fiat money.
Yeah.
That would be kind of awesome. For those who don't know, fiat money is money based on nothing, which is what we live on now.
Our money's based on debt. I mean, there's something to it.
Yeah, that's true. It is based on debt. That's right. I love that. The more... So I'm listening... I don't read books. I listen to books. I'm listening to The Creature of Jekyll Island by myself, and my kid and I are listening to Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and they're lining up. They just happened to line up beautifully this week as far as the timeline, and it was like, whoa, seeing it from two different angles, like, man.
Yeah. I haven't read either of those. The one I listened to was Trust Me, I'm Lying. That's such a good one.
Yeah.
That's more about manipulating capitalism and marketing.
Yeah, I've got that on my list. I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
That's Solzhenitsyn on our queue after the Economic Hitman. Because we go for all the fun stuff.
Oh yeah, well you have to.
Yeah, so so roads, that makes sense. In theory, I would like educational opportunities to be roughly equal.
Well,
but the opportunities, not the actual expense.
Yeah. Well, here's my question: is which version of equal? Because I have the biggest problem I run into with this kind of thought process would be, okay, so educational opportunities should be equal. Equal for who? Should the entire education system be catered to the dumbest? No. Should it be catered to the smartest? No.
Well, it's currently, I would say, opportunities based on ability.
Yeah, which I agree with.
So it would be nice if the kids that are really, really brilliant could have the opportunity to make something of that without it being an impossibility. Now,
that's what scholarships are for, though, right?
I know. Yeah, I believe in hard work. I believe in if you don't actually attempt to do anything, you shouldn't get a handout. I just don't think that's good for anybody. I've seen way too many people's lives ruined by things, funds. I've personally experienced that in my personal life, how badly wrong a trust fund can go for somebody. So
What about
I,
something
I
like universal basic income, where it's not something outrageous, but like 15 grand a year, you don't have to worry as much.
yeah, but see, it doesn't it doesn't work like that. When you pump that much money into the economy, you just up inflation. All of you, so all of the prices will rise, and you will effectively have nothing gained because it's not money that they're putting in, it's fake money.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really gain anything in the. I don't know how to explain that, but if you had a dollar, you had a gallon of milk was $1, and you pump a bunch of money into the economy, well, suddenly there's a bunch of money around, and the farmer can charge $2 for the gallon of milk, effectively making it the same cost.
But then you
So
have competition, though, to equal it out. If the one farmer goes,
maybe not.
I'll charge $2, and the next farmer says, fuck that, I'm going to stick at $1, and I'll just get all the extra buzz.
Yeah, but that's only if all the other prices that go into raising the cows on the farm don't go up.
Mm-hmm.
So that they have to meet the costs.
Yeah.
That go up with the inflation. See,
but the inflation's not guaranteed.
Cost in gold standard for a lot of products have stayed basically the same. Some of it has gone down, and it's gone down because it takes less labor to do stuff. But a lot of things that are basic commodities still cost the same as they have over time. It doesn't go up or down, it stays the same.
Yeah, but the money, the value...
The money supply is going up. The money supply is not the gold standard. It's just the money supply of dollar bills. So anyway...
But as price
because also, how are they going to pay for that basic income? They're going to create money out of nothing.
No, they're just going to tax everybody. Tax the rich and give it to everybody. I mean,
they can't make that happen.
I'm not saying they can make it happen. I'm saying how it would happen. And it could happen.
No, I don't think it would happen like that. I think that they would create money out of nothing, which is what the Federal Reserve does.
Mm-hmm.
They create money.
It's a giant possibility. They do that anyway.
Yes, and then you pump money into the supply, and then inflation goes up, and blah, blah, blah. So I just don't see it happening that way.
It still balances out. Inflation goes up, but everyone has more money.
So, but your effective rate of purchasing power has not gone up even if you have $15,000 more, because everything will have gone up that much more.
I don't think it would inflate to that degree. I'm not arguing for universal basic income. I don't think it's a great idea. It has its merits. But
it's interesting. It should be studied. Mm-hmm. But I just do not think... And the problem is implementing it in one town or one, one little population. It's not going to show the economics of what it would do on a country, on a more widespread scale. Yeah, even statewide. Mm-hmm. You'd have to do a really, really big sample to see what would happen. And would people's lives actually improve?
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening.
When you do it on the town level, they do.
Okay.
Depression goes down. They did it in Canada to this one place. Mm-hmm. And depression rates dropped. Anxiety dropped.
Interesting.
Quality of life, where they were just taking less hours and spending more time with their family, increased.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was just
that's good.
A bunch of small little things. It was all mostly positive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they pulled a lot of the money out of the supply side and left everybody's incomes the same, we would be doing a lot better.
Yeah.
There's just too much money floating around.
Well, it's technically not floating around. Most of the money is ones and zeros at this point.
Yes.
There's not even
But
the
it still
physical
counts to
commodity.
bring down the value of the dollar.
Hmm?
So it ends up being close to the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't. So yeah, I don't think that works out. I don't think. Yeah,
That's
I don't think that you can have. I don't think that equality is actually, except for equality of opportunity, is something that can be really uh, strived for. I think that that's really where you would find the best common ground with it. But we just are not all equal. We're just not.
no.
I cannot. Oh my God. My kid is so friggin' smart. And he just, there's so many times I look at him and I'm like, who the hell hatched you? Where did you come from, you little alien?
Mm.
And I cannot keep up with him on a lot of things. A lot of things I can't, but a lot of them I can't. And he just leaves me in the dust.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. We're not equal on intelligence scales. Okay. Sob into my own shoulder and have a hiss fit? No. You don't just, you keep going.
That's the fun part of where the argument starts to happen. It's like, you can't say people are unequal because then inherently that makes some people better than others. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so.
I think that everyone's right to live is exactly the same. I think that's equal. I think, as a rule, I think everybody's value in God is the same.
Mm-hmm.
That tenant in life, and that unless given a reason to say otherwise, everybody should be treated with dignity and grace and openness. I will say that if somebody's a serial killer, I reserve the right to not be open and receptive to them. But
Yeah.
you know, that would be a duh. So, but otherwise, so that's where I as a religious person stand, that everybody has value and is worth the same. It's so, you know, when kids get all hyped on this self-esteem crap, it's like, just stop it. Stop esteeming yourself. Stop making yourself seem better than everyone else. When you're esteemed, you are up on a pedestal and you're just super great. And there's only one way to go from there, and that's down.
Yeah.
If you feel like you have self-worth, which I believe every person has self-worth, you're worth your life, you're worth, you know, not being left to die on the side of the road, you know, basic things, then there's nobody to knock you down from that.
Yeah, you still have
So,
to have confidence in yourself.
yes, but confidence is not the same as esteeming yourself.
Yeah. Which
self-esteem. What a stupid jackass notion.
There's a fine line between the two.
There is. And I mean, you know, human nature to feel like the person that you are is better than everybody else. That's just human nature. And that's going to be there. But, you know, just
be aware of it.
Like a smart idea to feel like, oh, hey, I am the god.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I love about the fairness idea. It's at its basis, it's paradoxical. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no way you can be fair to everyone.
Nope.
Just as an example, let's say with this dance. Okay, so it's unfair to say no to dance with someone. Mm-hmm. It's also unfair to say you can't say no to dance with someone.
Yep.
There is no fairness here.
Nope. Mm-hmm. Bet they didn't think of that one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I heard this and it was like...
I was making the point on this. I was like, that's why, to me, this sounds like a collectivism idea. It's to show that the group has some kind of virtue. Mm-hmm. And for that group virtue to exist, you have to expel the idea of individuality and choice. And that just
Oh,
feels wrong on every level I have.
wow. And yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, but that's, yeah, because we are all individuals, so,
Hmm.
huh,
But for the group to
okay.
have some kind of identity, which is inclusiveness in this one, the
You know,
individuals have to sacrifice their rights.
yeah, and I have sympathy for those kids that do not get anybody to dance with them. I really do. And
I don't.
I, well, okay. I feel like you don't learn how to be the kind of person that somebody wants to dance with without first falling flat on your face many, many times.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. I,
So
I feel sorry for the
how
kids
about
who
this?
get
I
the
have
dances.
empathy for the, I have, well, there's that too. No, I have empathy for the kids who don't yet have their shit together because it's a painful process.
Oh, it sucks, but stick with it. And there's an old Latin saying that I've heard many years ago, and I've kind of lived by it ever since then. Fire tests gold. I'm not gonna say it in Latin because I don't want to look that dumb.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
Fire test gold. Yeah.
Hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so, yeah, the hardships are what build us and make us better.
They
So,
really are.
so the kid who has everything handed to them on the silver platter, probably not going to perform as good as the kid who had to go through some shit later in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah. I worry about that. My oldest was bullied, so we pulled him out of school, homeschool him because just, like for his own safety, they had to put an aid on this with him. We were
Hmm.
getting to that point.
Yeah.
That was a little ridiculous because this was first grade.
Hmm.
So, was he begging? It was one kid turning him. So I don't know that he was begging to be bullied, but I don't know that he's outgrown that yet.
Yeah.
And he's so smart about so many things and so damn about some other stuff. And it's like, come on, kid, you gotta learn this. You have to do it. And
Hmm.
thus far, it's not working out well. I'm going to drop him off at the chess club at his college so that he can learn social skills because that's the good place to learn, right?
Sure. I'll
Yeah,
be
exactly.
polite with it. Just give a sure.
Uh-huh.
No, yeah, I can tell you, like, just let him play D&D. I'm not even a D&D nerd, but I do know that's a social thing that comes in handy.
Yeah. If he had more time.
Yeah, it is
Chess
pretty.
club is only 2 hours a week.
You can do D&D in 2 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so back to a fair society.
Hmm.
In my fair society, there would be no video games.
Yeah, but D&D is not a
Because,
video game.
well, what the hell is it then?
It's a tabletop game. You sit around and you basically tell a story with your friends.
Oh.
Like,
I should probably know that.
yeah, one person like sets up the story, the other people make their character, and then it's just a story that unfolds, and like a lot of it's random. You roll the dice to figure out what happens in certain situations, but it's an actual physical social thing. It's kind of cool. I've seen it. I've seen YouTube has people doing playthroughs of their campaigns, and it, depending on the people, it's really interesting and fun to watch.
Okay.
Like I
I think
said,
my brother plays that.
yeah, I've never actually
Or
played it,
something like it. I don't know.
but I've seen like the few I've seen. It's like that's kind of cool. I wish I would have actually had this as a kid.
Yeah, no. No. Mm-mm. Anyway, it's not my. So, I would. I would make. What would I make? I would make um the water infrastructure socialism.
Isn't it?
Mm,
Sorta. It's
no,
not exactly, but kinda.
not exactly. If it was regulated and had certain standards that had to be met across the board, we wouldn't have kids who are brain damaged in Michigan because of lead poisoning.
Yeah, we would. They just didn't do it. You could make the argument because it's not a capitalist thing and there's no option for you to get different services is the reason it's failed because the government didn't uphold their part of the job. Because water
All
does have
right.
standards.
Fair enough. Good point.
It's just community owned.
I like uh, that the DMV seems to be socialist because it works about just that efficiently.
Oh, it is.
Or,
I mean,
yeah.
all those people are paid their government jobs. Anything that's a government job is kind of by default socialist.
Oh my gosh. The post office here are. They're the slowest people on the planet, and they just don't give a fuck. But they're very nice.
Yeah.
But they don't care.
Well, it's very hard to fire them.
150 people in line, one person working, and sitting there chatting like I'm in the South. Like I wanted in the South that everybody could chit chat. I would go live in the South. Nope.
I was gonna say, there's chit chat in the South, but my town of 14,000 people has like at least 2 people behind the counter at the post office. Usually 3.
This is how terrible this gets. It's really bad. I'm in the middle of a big city. In one of the suburbs, there's, I don't know, 9 or 10 post office in my county. Bad.
And there's one here. In the county, I think. Well, no, there's a bunch of small ones, but I don't really count them. Just
no, there's a bunch of major post offices. It's just crazy.
Like the closest quote unquote town to me has a post office, and I think it's a portable building.
Huh. Okay then.
You see some fun stuff out here. I'm slowly learning it's the way to go, though.
I thought of something. What I would like to be socialist is the regulation on what kind of smells and perfumes can be put into the air. Because I walked outside of my front door, and my neighbor is a good 150 feet away. Okay? I could smell her house the second I walked out the door. And this is the house on the opposite side of the door of the house. Like, so the door is on the right side of my house, and her house is on the left side.
Yeah.
It's 150 feet away. I could smell her house. I'm so tired of that.
I think
I would like regulations on what your house can stink like.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is I think you don't want that to be socialist. I think that's where you take the reins of your dictatorship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I walked inside and started complaining about it to my kid, and he walked outside and walked in, and he's like, "What the heck? How did that happen?" And my thought is that her house is so tired of eating all of the fruited, scenty, balmy crap that's staying up now.
It can exude after a while.
Oh, there's going to be no salvation for that house. Anybody who moves in there is just going to have to bulldoze it.
Yeah.
It's done for. It's done. Oh my God. And I have allergies to all this crap. So, it really isn't fun. She borrowed my vacuum once, and despite having everything washed, the filter changed, my vacuum still stinks like her house.
Damn.
Yeah.
See.
And for anybody listening, I don't mean stinks bad. I mean stinks pretty, which gives me a migraine.
It's
horrendous.
I was thinking about stinks bad, and it made me think of hoarders.
Yes.
Which
not bad.
Brought me back to like the fairness idea.
Have you ever walked by a Yankee Candle store?
Yeah.
You ever smelled the Yankee Candle store?
Yeah.
Her house smells worse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, but the fairness thing, you always have to go to the lowest common denominator. Do we really want that? That sounds
terrible.
I
would like to be, somebody said this recently, I would like to be the dumbest person in a smart society. I really would.
Why? Just to have the
Because
smart
I would not
society?
want to be the smartest person in the dumb society.
Yeah. That's
That would be terrible. Because at least if I come to know better and everybody else is going to take care of my stupid ass, that'd be okay.
Can I just be the average person in the smart society? That would be okay.
That would be okay too. But if you had to pick one or the other,
If I had
that would be the way I would pick.
Yeah, if I don't know if I would. I'm weird though.
Yeah, well, fair enough. You might not, but I would like to be. I'd like to be the dumbest person in the world versus the smartest if everybody else around me is really stupid. Oh.
Yeah, I'd have to pick the other one. I'd rather be the smart one.
So I live in a place where education is really awesome and the school district is really good and everybody raves and rants about it and how amazing it is and blah blah blah. They can't plow the roads in my county to save their life, but they have the school system down. It's perfect. So I was talking to another friend who wants to pull her kids out of school because of this reason and that reason, and she told me she doesn't feel like she's equipped. It's like, so at least if you're not the smartest person, there's always resources to help you get better.
Yeah. And
welcome to my world. I never feel equipped. My kids are killing me. That's okay. Adorable. It works.
So just
keep telling myself that.
Yeah. To throw a what if out there, if you were to write about a completely fair society, how awful would you make it?
I couldn't do it. Like without making it a farce like the one you suggested, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, but why, I mean, go with the farce then. That's what I'm saying. How ridiculous.
I would probably have facial surgeries being a max, and there'd be a standard face that was agreed upon. And that everybody would maybe have like serial numbers or something tattooed on their forehead. So they're not equal, but they're not horrendously not equal.
I was about to say, those numbers, like if I were to write that, I would have it so like certain digits would start clumping together and thinking they're better than the other digits.
Yes.
Like you'd have even superiority complexes. Can't be one of those dirty odds.
Totally agree.
Like,
yeah.
Because I would have to show it where, as hard as you try to make it completely equal, humans will fuck this shit up.
Well, yeah, I would probably do like genetics, genetic messing with or hormone messing with in order to get people to be the same shape and size.
Can we make everyone one gender?
Ooh.
Because,
They can't be male or female, though.
Gotta
well,
be
it would
equal.
end up being female. Yeah, but see, the thing is so what I don't like about that story is that the guy had a wife. Did he actually pick his wife? Because that's not equal.
I don't know if he did.
So that would be a question I would ask, because if you're making an equal society, you cannot pick your own spouse.
I mean, can you have a spouse? What about people who can't have a spouse?
Well, there would probably be a predetermined number of males and females, and everybody would be matched up together, and then if there's any extras, they'd either be put in a spare parts box or killed off.
Yeah, but what about sterile people who can't have kids? Then how can anyone have kids?
Maybe all the kids would be born.
You have to have the artificial womb.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking about a very science-based society here.
I mean,
if this ever actually happens, I'd like dead, though. Just so you know.
Do what?
If this ever actually happens, I'd like to be dead.
Oh well, yeah. I'm very much gonna be the freedom fighter at that point.
I'm not a fighter.
I was gonna say if I had the energy for it.
Peace out, man.
This goes back to our zombie apocalypse story where it's like, nah, I'm checking out.
Fuck this shit, I'm done.
Later. It's been fun. Y'all have gone too stupid for me.
Oh, yes, exactly. I have no intention of surviving. I bought my kids and husband food, and I'm gone.
Yeah. That's how, I don't know. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the offense behind it either.
it's a weird time, and there's a lot of people who are completely oblivious to what is going on.
Hmm.
So, they don't see the partisanship of it, and bravo for them, because avoiding that,
Like,
I assume, makes your life a happier place to live.
hmm.
Because it would make mine a happier place to live if I were unaware.
Because
I would have truthfully avoided that, but I don't seem to be able to avoid it.
didn't you link me to? I think it was Huffington Post, which it goes a long way of telling you what I'm about to say. But it was about
Go on.
Well, I think you linked it to me. It was the words you should never use to your kids, and it was like,
Oh,
and one of them was, "Don't call them smart."
yes. Yes. I should tell my 10-year-old that likes particle physics that he's not smart.
Yeah,
I
because
should do that.
it might set
Mhm.
him up for hurt feelings whenever he can't figure out the world's hardest equation.
Yes, well, he's already hitting that now.
Yeah,
And good on him. I'm letting him fail happily.
I modeled that phrase very carefully.
Uh-huh. Good Lord. Yeah, I know. It's just, oh my gosh.
Uh,
These snowflake children are going to have no ability to stand up for themselves. And I say that as somebody who homeschools her kids, so I'm very cognizant of the fact that my kids are very sheltered from the shenanigans that go on in public schools.
mm,
And a lot of shenanigans.
I was
Like,
gonna
one
s-
of the complaints is my kid's turning into a jerk. It's like, well, yeah, of course they're turning into a jerk. They're around a bunch of other jerks. I love kids, but kids are jerks. And when you put a bunch of jerks together, they just kind of, you know, exponentially get worse. That's
mhm.
just what they do. It turns into they're little sociopaths, and they turn into mob mentality people, and they just go
I was get,
herded
It's
like
even
dumbass
worse now
chickens. Oh,
because now you have social media where you can be the biggest jerk you can be and it not really affect you on a weird psychological level. Like, there's a big
yep,
difference between calling someone an asshole to their face and doing it through text.
yes. Oh, people getting mad that other people are calling kids assholes. I'm like, really, really?
Like,
Every human being is an asshole, and they have an asshole unless there's been some surgical things.
mhm.
Maybe that'll put that into my socialized world. Nobody gets an asshole.
Dude,
We'll just have
if the perfectly fair world includes getting rid of some bodily functions, I might be down for
right.
it.
Yeah. So, yeah, the people just get so uptight about this crap. It's just
Well,
it's
yeah,
just a
because
joke.
their kid's not an asshole. Their kid's a perfect fucking snowflake.
Well, maybe their kid's a perfect fucking snowflake, but
No, they're not. It's just in
my
their
kid
eyes.
is just my kids are, they're human.
I know
So that
plenty
means
of
they're
kids.
full
Their
of crap.
kids are fucking assholes. This is,
Yeah.
there's no getting
Yeah.
around that. Kids are worse assholes than adults. Adults learn to filter some shit.
Yeah, they do. They're sometimes less effective assholes, though. If
Yeah.
somebody stays an asshole into it, man, they have learned and perfected their craft.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, everybody is a jerk at points, and kids are not. They're like walking ids. They don't have any ability to
No. The
to
whole
just
that
filter themselves.
that frontal cortex thing that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, so they're my kid, my 13-year-old, is in college, and he is kicking butt, man, and he is so smart. And he comes home, and he like gives his little noogie.
Hmm.
Like, what is wrong with you? What? His
Nothing.
autistic brother. What is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Like, good Lord.
I mean, he's treating his brother equally. It's
Yes.
completely fair.
Yes. He is. It's totally typical child behavior.
Hmm.
Because it doesn't matter what his intellect says. He's going to act like he's 13.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Exactly.
there's the intelligence quotient. There's also emotional intelligence, and that's not there yet.
He has so many smarts to understand people and understand things, but applying them to his sibling, no, not at all.
That's probably never gonna happen.
No. Well, he does a great job. So with little kids, when he babysits quite a lot, they will have an almighty tantrum, and he calmly handles these massive fits. He does a great job. I've watched him do it. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
that was wicked impressive. But then turns around to the 10-year-old and is a jackass.
Oh yeah.
Great, good job.
There's differences here.
There are differences. There's a difference between a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sibling is a factor. Yeah, there's a bunch of
Yeah.
factors going into there.
Yeah. So, I think, oh, wow. Oh, you can only have only children. You can't have oldest, middles, or youngest
No, we
in our fair society.
discussed this. You can't have kids in a fair society.
Well, who's going to raise these people? Because you can't have job segregation. Everybody has to have the same job.
Well, yeah.
So who's going to do the child raising?
I don't know.
Is everybody going to do the child raising? Or is everybody going to have many jobs so that they can be equal?
No, we
Or
can't.
rotating jobs, or...
Like, we're missing the bigger picture. We're like making assumptions like, oh, the scientists are going to have to do the artificial. We can't have scientists.
Oh, damn it.
So our completely fair society lasts for one generation and one generation alone.
You completely ruined this for me.
I did.
God.
And that one generation can't have like electricity or water or food
Right.
because someone out there is starving. Everyone has to starve.
Damn it. Well, I hear there's this brilliant guy, like Karl Marx or whatever. He came up with a good idea. Maybe we should do what he did.
You know,
That didn't lead to the biggest genocide in the world's ever seen. Nope, nope, nope.
only a couple 100 million people died.
Yeah, it's
Or
nothing.
it wasn't quite a couple hundred, might have been a little bit less than,
It was a lot.
somewhere between 100 and 200 million. It's fine.
Stalin was as big of, if not more of, a monster than Hitler.
If we're
On
just
completely opposite sides of the spectrum
if we-
politically, which is hilarious.
oh no, Nazi Germany was socialist, and then Stalin had communist, and they gave the world nothing but death.
Yeah.
And sure, capitalism provided some death too, but not nearly as much. And we got some cool shit out of it.
We did. So I think that decides it that we're just going to have to stick with the capitalism.
Yeah, we're dirty, filthy capitalist.
Well, I'll live with myself.
Yeah.
I just got a shower, though, so I can't get another one. Clean off the stench of capitalism. It's going to have to just be like a body odor or something. I don't know.
I bathe in capitalism.
Yeah. Oh, we could regulate that everybody has to bathe in it.
Yeah. I mean,
Does that sound good?
you kind of already do have to bathe in it. You have to pay for that water, and so it's not.
That's socialism, isn't it?
No.
No.
Water's weird. Water because
Water is weird. The electricity is not.
electricity
The
is
electricity is private.
no. Only
It's not?
in certain states it is, but mostly no. Like Texas is deregulated.
Yeah.
And it's a lie, I might add. I'll just throw that out there.
Okay.
I actually worked in the electric field for a bit. So in Texas, it's deregulated. So you can buy your electricity from multiple companies.
Yeah.
The thing is, all those companies buy it from one company. And that one,
Yeah.
that one company they buy it from also owns all the fucking lines. Well, not all of them, but almost all the lines.
Wow.
So I mean, technically, it's kind of, I guess we're a monopoly here, but it looks like capitalism,
Yeah.
and it kind of is, and all the rates are basically the same, and I don't know, it's weird.
We have solar panels. We are not allowed to have more solar panels than will generate use. So we have to pay for excess energy needed, but they can't put on, so they have to estimate how many panels you need based on your usage, and you're not allowed to gain any extra. Now this is for
That's fucking dumb.
Right? It's for leased solar panels, though. It's not for if we bought them. If we had bought them flat out, we could have put as many solar panels on as we wanted to tax the power company. But a leasing agreement that the company could get with the local, which is BG&E here, it's BG&E. BG&E regulates it that you're not allowed to generate more than you use. If you go on vacation and they end up generating more and it gets pushed back into the power lines, blah, 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 that's not illegal, but it can't be the norm. So if it happened too often, they'd have to take a panel down.
Don't quote me on this, but I believe in Texas, if you produce more energy than you consume with solar and you push it back into the system, I think we get paid for that.
Yeah, we do too. Well, we do not get paid because we leased our...
Yeah.
We basically just switched our power company to solar. And they put solar panels on our house. But yes, here you would get paid if you owned, which we do not. It was slightly cheaper to go with Solar City and get panels on. So
yeah, it's still weird.
We don't pay anything for them. Yeah, isn't it weird?
Just get people to want to produce your power for you. Be done with it.
Right? We have a lot of houses here. There's lots of space for solar panels. Just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever get rich, I'm going completely off the grid.
Me too. Sounds like a plan.
I'm gonna have my solar farm and my fucking Tesla walls, batteries, and that's gonna be that.
Sounds like heaven.
Yes. I'll get a well. Fuck the water. Kind of go completely though. Just yes. Fuck y'all. Why? Because that will be fair to me.
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. I have friends who want to do that. They want to go off the grid, get a little farm, and be out of the way when things go bad. And I'm like, I was thinking that they were crazy, says the person who wrote An End of the World story. But now it's starting to sound really good, except for the whole. They're vegan.
Yeah. What?
I don't want to be vegan.
No. I want the farm. I also want the cow there too. Maybe a chicken. Yeah.
Exactly.
The only problem I would have is I'd have to be connected with the internet because I'm not giving that up.
Well,
that's my one
fair
thing.
Enough.
That's the one wire I'll connect to the outside world with.
Yeah, currently my business requires me to be connected to the internet, which is just obnoxious, but there it is.
Yeah.
When the internet goes out, the business stops.
Yeah.
So in our socialized world, we're not going to have anything to free internet for everyone.
I don't know. The one thing I don't like about socialized programs is it stops innovation. I want the internet to continue to evolve and become better.
I don't. I'm struggling to keep up as it is. Because as we already admitted, I'm damn dumb.
Well, yeah, but even you can understand it's the same, but faster.
That's true. I enjoy that.
Yeah. Or it's the same, but it doesn't drop connection or whatever. Innovation's good. I like innovation. And that's my one hang up on socialized medicine is where does the innovation come from?
Well, don't they still have privatized hospitals that are, so you have private hospitals and not private hospitals?
Depends.
If you're always innovating, you need to make things better. You need to get costs down. That's an innovation. You could have certain parts of the budget that are constantly available for research.
That's true. I was going to say the best argument against my own argument would be NASA.
Yeah, because they have done... They did a lot.
They did a lot, yeah. But They did a lot by outsourcing to private companies.
Yes.
So
True.
I guess you
There
always
has
have
to
to have
be
the
some
blend.
kind of workaround.
Well,
But basically, it needs to stop being a money-making thing. I just don't think it ever will be.
what?
The
Space?
healthcare industry, not
Oh,
not NASA,
oh.
healthcare.
I was gonna say you could easily make money with NASA if you just started sending people to space.
They need to go to space and collect all of the minerals and precious stuff like that. That's what they need to do.
Oh yeah,
Asteroid mining.
yeah. Asteroid mining is going to be a thing sooner or later if we continue as a species.
I remember when Bitcoin was only $20, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy one. Boy, was I a dumbass.
Yeah.
Again.
I know. I heard of Bitcoin like as soon as it came out, and I'm like, that sounds dumb.
Yes. Live and learn. Right. Well, I'm
To-
declaring socialism and a free society fail.
To be fair, I still think Bitcoin's dumb.
Bigfoot's dumb?
Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yes, it is dumb. But for money, I could have sold it right now.
Yes.
I bought much fabric.
Yes.
Or a serger. I want an industrial serger. Don't tell my husband.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want to carry it up the stairs. It weighs about 150 pounds.
That sounds fun.
Right? Because you know I'm not hauling that thing up the stairs.
Nope.
That's not how our fair society works here. That's called outsourcing. And that's why you have a husband.
Fair
So
enough.
they can haul your very heavy shit.
I didn't even mean
Aren't you
that.
sorry you're not married now?
Yeah. It sounds so appealing.
Okay, so
So yeah, don't treat people fairly.
no. Treat them how they deserve to be treated.
Yes.
Which doesn't mean kill them.
No, it doesn't mean anything. Just you get what you earn, and that's how it should be.
Did that. All right. Talk to you next week.
Till then, later.
Bye.